Welcome in FoodFAQers. I'm Mariela.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are doing our final installment to Havana Nights.
Woo!
Yes. And what is it going to be, Kate?
We are going to do arroz con pollo, or chicken and rice.
Yes. And what makes the best arroz con pollo?
Well, what do you mean? What makes it beer?
Okay. Yeah. Like it has to be wet.
Yeah. So, all right. So there's two ways to make it. You can make it wet or dry. A la chorera or dry.
Look at you.
I know. Are you laughing because I said the word wet?
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is, Mariela. It's wet.
Yes.
And I think the best way to describe wet is like
risotto-ish, but
kind of like a
lighter.
thicker risotto. Like not like a full risotto's a little bit.
It's more
soupier.
cheesy, creamy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's a way to put it.
Arroz con pollo is more soupy. Is that right?
Risotto's more soupy.
We have a problem here. Don't we?
Regardless, there's two ways to make it. You can make it wet
or dry.
And I think this is like the definition of a real Cuban dish.
Yeah.
Like when did your mom make it?
My mom would make it for special occasions. A birthday, one of us would ask for it, and then we would have it. Sometimes she'd make it like a lower variety of it, like not, you could tell it's not the same work put into it.
Right.
Midweek, but not very often. It was something that we had special.
Right. My mom ate it as comfort food.
Tell me more.
So, horrible situation, but after 9/11 occurred, so I'll never forget, 9/11 occurs, everything's going crazy, things like that. And we're all finally home in one space so we can all, my mother can see us. She sees we're all safe and whatnot. And I walk in the kitchen. She's making a big pot of arroz con pollo.
That's so funny.
And I was just like, why are you cooking? And she's like, I have to feel comfort somewhere. So,
that's so funny.
Yeah. So it was typically made for like family dinners.
Mm-hmm.
You can feed a lot of people with it.
Right.
And it's like her comfort food.
And she always made it. And she made it dry.
She makes it dry. She likes it like that.
Yeah. I've had her arroz con pollo many a time.
Yeah.
I really have.
She makes it dry. And I like it. I like it
the other way. The wet way.
I can't look at you.
Oh, we're together.
Okay, we're together in the same room. Sitting right next to her.
Yes. We're together. So we're looking at each other.
Literally. And so I like it. I like it the wet way.
Okay.
And here's the other thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't like bones on my chicken.
Right.
I don't like bones and I don't like skin.
I get it.
So, but there's a toss up here because the bone and skin add a lot of flavor.
All the flavor.
That you do not get
with a breast.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing because I think the reason why I don't like it with the skin is because it's kind of gelatinous-y.
It is, but that's what makes the mouth feel
right. It's like that collagen type feel on your lips. So it just kind of, it's like a toss. It does gross me out. But then there are other ways you can make it where you can make all the chicken, with the bone and skin.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, you could painstakingly then pull the meat out and shred it and put it back in the pot. And you can do that. And that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
how do you make yours?
All right. So you gotta get like a big pot.
Yes.
Okay. And you get the big pot and you put olive oil in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I dice up onions and I use like chopped up garlic.
Mm-hmm.
I like my garlic out of the jar.
I know you do.
I like it. There was a taste test, and I could be lying to you, but that garlic from the jar is preferred.
Well, I'm going to add to this. Yesterday, you made garlic bread for us, and you used that garlic, and it was so much better than fresh garlic because it's not so pungent.
Right.
So I actually was surprised by that.
I think it's sitting in olive oil or sitting in some type of oil base.
Yeah, it was actually very nice.
It was good. I liked it.
I might actually start trying it.
Yeah, just get a little jar.
I always feel guilty using it because I'm like,
why feel guilty?
I don't know. I have like weird kitchen guilt. I do.
I mean, if you're like a pilgrim, like, you can chop up garlic, maybe, but.
Why? I want to do things the hard way. It's an annoying torture tree. I have.
All about convenience.
I know you are.
All about convenience.
This is it. You're the peeled orange guy.
Me,
I'm like, I'm going to grow the fucking tree.
Right, I'm going to grow my oranges and then make my children peel them for me. Teach them a lesson. So, all right. So you get the big pot, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
And you put, it's like a whole onion chopped up. and you get a good amount of garlic. So you gotta get like the big container.
If you use the fake garlic, you gotta use like at least 3 tablespoons.
You gotta go. Well, that garlic, well, yeah, because it's not super pungenty, but it's like, I can't describe it. Just put garlic in there. Mm-hmm. So if I had to say how many cloves, I would say probably like a good 4 cloves of garlic.
I agree.
And chop it up, get it in there. And then what I like to do is I then like to put green olives in there at that point also.
Really?
Yeah, I like to chop up. Then there's the green olives with the pimentos in it.
Yeah, of course.
I used to hate when my grandmother was serving it. It was the green olives with the pit.
Oh, yeah, horrible. That's the worst.
All the Cuban ladies love that. So green olives and pimentos, chop it up, throw it in there. And then we start just putting like salt and pepper. And that's really all I do. And I just saute it together. Mm-hmm. Then you got to throw the chicken in there. And the key to this is don't cook the chicken thoroughly. Like you're just putting it in there just to brown it. And that's it. You're just getting color on the chicken.
Yeah.
And then once it has color on the chicken, it's going to be raw on the inside. I go ahead, I throw 2 cups of uncooked rice, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I like to stir it in there a little bit, toast the rice up a little bit, let all the ingredients marry together. And then I go ahead and we put, so you have to yellow the rice.
Of course.
And there's a couple ways to yellow the rice. And there is a spice that Hispanics use, and it's called bijol.
No, wait a minute.
Yes. Tell the story.
I think you should tell the story because it was your story to tell, but I'll tell
your daughter.
My daughter. Wasn't it Ryan?
No, Daddy, bijol.
No, you told me it was Ryan.
You told me it was your daughter.
No way.
Yeah, Ryan said, look at all the bijols.
That's it.
No, it was your daughter. That said, no, because you were telling your husband bijol, and he's like, what do you mean bijol? And then, so for everybody out there, if you say it in an English way, it's bijol, B-I-J-O-L.
B-I-J-O-L.
And so you were saying bijol, and he was saying, what is bijol? And Zoe says, Daddy, that's butthole.
I don't remember the story being like this, but I will accept it.
I'm going to accept that. It's a great story.
Like it would happen.
Sounds like your kid. So
yeah, bijol, or what else could you use?
So Goya does have packets. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what's in the packet. There's
one with
azafran.
Azafran, which is saffron.
Right.
And then there's another one with, I forget what it's called.
Achiote.
Achiote? Is it achiote?
Yeah, something like that.
And it's this little red, it's a red colorant really for food.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and that adds a beautiful color.
It does. So I use bijol as much as I can.
Me too.
I prefer bijol.
Yeah, me too.
It depends what I can get my hands on here. And
do you put bouillon in there too? I do.
No, and I should. That does sound really good.
Yeah.
So I throw the bijol in there.
Yeah.
I put a healthy amount, like a really yellow. Mm-hmm. Again, keep mixing it up. And then because I use 2 cups of the dried rice, I then use 4 cups of water, and I let it simmer. So now we're going to bring everything to a roaring boil.
You put the chicken back in, right?
Chicken's been in there the entire time.
Oh,
I don't take it out. Chicken's been in there the entire time. Okay. I don't take anything out. One pot meal. Don't take anything out. And then mix it all together, throw the water in there, bring everything up to a roaring boil, put the lid back on, turn it back on to low, and let it simmer for about 25 minutes. You gotta let it simmer for a little bit. Let it just get in there for 25 minutes. Then take your favorite beer and open it up. And when the rice has become dry, you then pour that beer in there. Make it a beer you're gonna drink.
Corona.
Really? You like Corona?
I like it in there, yeah.
Interesting. I put Heineken.
Heineken good too.
Yeah, I put Heineken in there.
Yeah.
And so I would say half the bottle. You drink the other half of the bottle.
Sometimes more.
You can put the whole bottle, depending on how dry your rice is. Yeah. In all honesty, if you really want to do it, instead of doing 4 cups of water, you can do 3 cups of water, 3.5 cups, let it cook. And then the last couple minutes, throw your beer in there. And the beer just gives it this really delicious flavor. It's so good with the beer. And that's it. You serve it up. And it's a 1-pot meal. It's actually really easy. It's a really easy, simple meal.
Yes. But there's something to it, a finesse that I have yet to master. And that I find in my mom's cooking. She makes this well. Mm-hmm. And not always either. Sometimes I can tell her what mood she's in by how the arroz con pollo tastes.
Wait, you can tell to make shortcuts.
Yeah. And so there's kind of a finesse to it. But I make it like that too, but I've been using my Instapot because my friend taught me a way to do it. Okay. So you put the water in there, you put the chicken. I usually use chicken thighs, And I leave some with, maybe one with the skin, and like the other 3 will be without. And then I'll pop them in there with all the same herbs and spices and stuff that you said, right? Mm-hmm. And then I will pressure cook it for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
I fish the chicken out, and then that's when I take the meat off the bones.
You shut it up.
Yes. And I add all that back in there, and then I will stir it, add the olives, add the rice. And then with the pressure cooker open, I'll go ahead and put it on like 5 minutes of cook.
Right.
And it's done.
I'm going to start shredding the chicken up.
I think, you know what you could do if you don't like dark meat is like you can make your chicken and then maybe add like 1 thigh. You don't have to eat it, but just to like let it flavor.
If it's shredded up, I actually don't mind eating dark meat.
Right. I think it's better.
If it's shredded, I don't mind eating dark meat. It's still not my thing, but I don't mind eating dark meat if it's shredded. But so I will say the bone and skin add a flavor that you don't get. And just remember, if you're going to cook bone and skin, it needs to cook a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
So you got to cook the chicken. But I think the key to making a good chicken and rice is when you're brining that chicken, I think out of just what we do every day, you want to cook it all the way. Don't let it be a little raw because it's going to cook.
Because it cooks nicely with the rice and it renders all its juices right into the rice, which is what makes it taste delicious.
Exactly.
And that beer is another, in my opinion, very important component of arroz con pollo.
Yeah.
You always know when it's not there.
Right.
And you're like, man, it's missing that acidity. I think it's acidity.
It's just a good taste, like that hoppy type of taste.
Round.
You know, it's funny. My grandparents didn't drink at all. And so you could taste the difference when there wasn't a beer in it, as opposed to when my mother would make it and there was a beer in it. You could definitely taste the difference in it.
Yeah. And I've tried wine.
No. Don't make it fancy.
No.
So at the end of the day, and let's be honest, it's poverty food. It's not to use up everything. Right. It's stuff that's cheap and that you can get your hands on. And, there's other variations of chicken rice. You can use other proteins in it. Mm-hmm. But, if we're going to stick to the original.
Which we should.
Right.
And always find plantains, I feel. What do you think? To eat alongside?
Absolutely.
I feel like I love the sweetness with the acidity of the rice. That's the only food that I really like to, I need a plantain if I can.
My mother doesn't have plantain. She eats a banana with it.
I know. Yes. Yeah. People do that. I'm not there.
I'm not there with it. But she'll eat a banana. She'll have a banana on the plate and cut it up while she eats. Not mix it together, but she'll have a bite of the banana. Yeah, and scoop it up. So she's a banana with it. I'm not there yet. Because I can still eat chicken and rice without plantains.
We're not that old yet. Is that what you're saying?
We got about 30 years before we start eating.
We're not there yet.
A banana with rice. But I think it's a meal that really brings me back to my childhood.
Oh, yes.
It's something that I think about. And it brings me back to family functions. And I remember my grandmother had this massive silver metal pot. And that's what she made for chicken and rice. And that was she either made beans in it or chicken and rice. And it was massive.
Yeah.
So it served
a
lot of people. And it was just, so it reminds me of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of nice. And I just think it's a simple dish. You can make it really
absolutely
easy.
And you can if you want to entertain with something like this and be kitschy, because you could do that with this, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Make it very pretty on top, decorate it with some red peppers, some peas. We forgot about the peas. There's peas in there.
I don't put peas in mine.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He doesn't put peas in his arroz con pollo.
Yep. No, my mother never did.
I love you, Maria, but you are wrong.
Yeah, no, I never put peas in my chicken and rice. That's like people that put raisins in their picadillo.
That's disgusting.
That's gross.
That's not the same thing.
Yeah, peas and chicken and rice. You have a delicious mouthful of chicken, olives, rice. Here's a pea.
Oh my God.
Carrots in there. Why don't
you? Get it, whatever you want, and decorate the top of it, and you can serve it at the table with a big spoon and some big bowls. And
you could decorate with olives instead of peas, maybe.
You could do that, or red. I think the red peppers look so pretty when people.
Yeah, or the pimentos that they get them
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It could be a nice summer thing that you serve with whatever drink you prefer. Something light and refreshing. I had a Paloma the other day, and it was so good.
Oh, a drink.
Yeah,
what's in the Paloma?
It is, man. I think it's tequila and grapefruit and seltzer water. It's so good.
Oh, it's really refreshing.
Oh my God, it was divine.
I can't have grapefruit.
It interferes with your blood pressure.
It interferes with my blood pressure.
We're getting
so I can't have grapefruit's one of my favorite fruits too. I love grapefruit. I think that's just growing up in Florida. I love grapefruit. And
I love you so much.
I can't have it.
Yeah, well, I think.
I mean, I'm sure a little bit.
Yeah, you would definitely survive the week Paloma.
I had chocolate cake 3 times this week with your kids, so I think
you bought it yesterday.
Yeah, so I don't think we're worried about the pill not working for a hot minute here.
Oh my gosh!
But arroz con pollo. So that is one of my favorite Cuban meals. And I think it's just because it reminds me of home.
Absolutely, and it is super summery, I think, and something you can share with friends.
To get on a picnic.
You could, because it tastes good when it's not even very hot.
Mm-hmm.
I like it cold sometimes too, which is maybe not everyone's cup of tea.
You know, it's like a pasta dish. It gets better the next day.
Oh my God, yes. It's always better the next day. The best. I make it and nobody likes it at my house, so I always have to eat it the next day and the next day and the next day.
Ryan just eats the rice and doesn't eat the chicken.
Well, I can see why. The rice is really the star.
The rice is really the star of the meal.
The chicken is bullshit. It's just there for like fun.
Protein.
They're like, here, this is what's in it. You know?
Keep you full.
Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed our little mini summer
Havana nights
situation here. It's
a little bit more culture.
Yeah, we're sharing a little bit about ourselves. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good night.
Bye.